All right, Shalom Bakim. I'm Zahad Spirit Wind, Judah of the GMS Mississippi Camp, giving all honor and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Chakodash. I also want to give double honor to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. And I want to say peace and blessings to the house of David the elect. All right, today I want to go into a quick lesson which came by way of watching Elder Apostle Gabar's video entitled A Little Something About Today's Women. All right. It made me reflect on my own self, my own life, you know. And one thing that I've learned about this society is that there's a reality. You see, there's a harsh realities that you have to deal with. And one thing I've also learned that as a man, especially as a man of Yahweh Bashem Shai, you have to deal with reality. One of the requirements to really being in this truth is dealing with reality. And I entitled this lesson, harsh reality, wisdom, and peace. All right, for a reason. And the reason why is because, all right, like I said, there's a harsh reality to being in this truth. And they call it red pill. Red pill is really reality. There's a reality to the way the society is ran versus the veil that's put in front of your face. There's a reality to how women really are versus how the media portrayed them. All right, there's a reality to how humans are. All right. And one thing I've noticed about Esau Edom is that he didn't walk up to us and deceive us, all right? We were born into the deception, all right? We were born into Christianity, all right? We were born into Jehovah's wickedness. We were born into that. We were born into the American dream, all right? We were born into the blue pill false reality of women, all right? We were born into the false reality of food, all right? For example, when you become health conscious, you really become so-called red pill in that aspect of realizing that the food through the drive-thru is not really food. Processed food is not really food, but you were born into that deception. So one of the processes in this truth is not really defending yourself from a lie. It's to wake up and realize that you were born and raised into a lie. Okay? All right, and that's the interesting thing about Babylon, is the realization that you were born into the lie. Like I said, you were born into thinking Caesar Borgia was the Messiah. All right, you was born into these different things, and what happens is 2/3 of our people, in a nutshell, they don't want to accept reality because they don't want the fun to stop. All right. For example, all right, it says in I want to say it's 2nd Ezra 10 talks about the 2/3 of our people, for such in their life have received benefits. All right, they don't want those benefits to stop. They don't want to believe America's going to get destroyed. You have a lot of Israelite groups, they slick don't want to believe. They don't want America to get destroyed because they don't want their fantasy to end. They don't want their fun to stop. All right, they don't want an economic collapse to happen. They don't want World War III to ensue. They don't want, you know, normalcy to end because the fantasy feels good. All right, the deception feels good. All right, it feels good to the flesh. All right, so like I said, Elder Apostle Gabar did a very, very powerful video once again, and it was entitled Something About Today's Women. Okay, and like I said, it said something about today's women, and I just thought about it in a nutshell. You know, as men, we have to deal with reality. There's a reality of things. All right, like when you go to a strip club, all right, and the stripper gives you a lap dance, and she jumps up and gives another man a lap dance. You don't think nothing of it, all right, because you know what it is, all right? Same thing with an escort. If you were to deal with an escort, you're not worried about the other men that's calling her, the other customers that's calling her, because you already know what it is. You understand that reality. But with these women, the Bible did say your wife should be a harlot in the city, all right? So one pill that we have to swallow is that red pill that most of these women, they're no different from these escorts. They're no different from a stripper. Well, they have twerk videos, so you're a stripper. There you go. Okay, but that's just a harsh reality that you have to deal with because you were born into the lie. All right, most likely. Okay, so and that's what I said. That's why the lesson is entitled "Harsh Reality, Wisdom, and Peace." And the reason why I entitled this lesson "Wisdom" as well is because wisdom is your defense from that lie. All right. Wisdom red pills you from the lie, not just with women, but how the way this world works, because now you have a standard, you have an expectation. All right, you have something to compare it to. All right, you really didn't have nothing to compare fast food to until you found out what real food was. All right, you didn't really know that women were whores or harlots because you couldn't compare them to any other women. It was a part of your environment. Okay, but now we have a standard to assess this world compared to how the world's supposed to be, all right, based on the law, statutes, and commandments. You see? Another thing I've noticed too, you know, like a lot of brothers, you might not have a woman, well, because you have wisdom, all right? And the Most High doesn't deal with us like civilians. He deals with us as like we're soldiers, and soldiers require solitude, all right? The word soldier means solitude, man. So if you're deprived of certain pleasures, or that puts you in a fortified spirit, it fortifies your spirit. It puts you in a manly spirit. Deprivation of pleasures fortifies your spirit, man. Okay? And one thing I noticed that women, they hate wisdom, man. Like it's really hard for you to have a woman and really be in this truth because that's two conflicting energies, two conflicting spirits, man. All right? But really, wisdom is your woman, man. All right? So you have the reality, the harsh reality that we have to deal with. Then we have our coping mechanism, which is really wisdom, all right, which is really how a woman desires to feel, all right, which will never fail us, is never fickle, all right? It doesn't have ulterior motives, okay? But then you have peace, all right? And why do you have peace? Well, first of all, the knowledge that comes from wisdom, the understanding that comes from wisdom, all right, it produces peace. But you're going to find out that what an Israelite man really needs is not a woman. What an Israelite man really needs is peace. All right, because I have in the scripture how it says in Sirach. All right, I'm gonna read it real quick. I'm at the light. Sirach 36:5. Where no hazard is, the other possession is spoiled, and he that have no wife will wander up and down mourning. So naturally, being deprived of a companion, you know, it could be displeasing to your spirit, displeasing to your flesh, all right, for whether it's a libido reason or you emotional, whatever it may be, all right, but that type of stuff fortifies your spirit. But you know, it's natural, all right, to have that feeling of deprivation. But what I'm saying is, what an Israelite man really needs, and what society doesn't tell you, is that a man really needs peace. See, so society puts sex in your face. And society put this fantasy of being in love in your face, and they sold it to us all our lives, and they projected that on women. So you see women that think they're gonna give you some type of this media perception of what you think love is, man. Well, it's nothing wrong with being loved by a woman, but what you really need as an Israelite man is peace. Okay, this book is all about peace. Every time it goes into the negative dynamic between a man and a woman, it goes into basically how she strips him of peace. How it says, and our forefathers said, I'd rather be on a corner on a housetop, or I'd rather deal with a dragon than with a brawling woman. All right, that's the result of that man not having peace. All right, peace is more important than pleasure. All right, and based on current studies or recent studies, the lack of peace will kill you. A nagging woman takes years off your life, and you can look that up, man. All right, so in this society, one thing that you need as an Israelite man is peace, because you don't have it anywhere else in the world outside the brotherhood, man. You don't have peace on your job. You probably get overworked and underpaid. It's probably a hustle and bustle. You're probably not appreciated because their use of you is that of a tool. All right, so they're assessing your worth based on your you replicating a robot, you replicating an animal, like our forefathers back in slavery. Okay, so you're never going to have complete satisfaction, all right, from working for Esau, all right? And the world doesn't appreciate you. You see how Eve acts behind the register? You see how the world treats you because you're an Israelite, or you don't have a whole lot of money, all right? We're already the lowest on the totem pole as Israelite men in this world. So the thing that you really need is peace. And what society doesn't tell you is that your strength and your power comes from peace. All right, because they want to market women. Because through women, they can make you consume so much and purchase so much. They can enslave you really through women. All right, they can sell you this this modern family dynamic, which really doesn't work in today's time. All right, but what you really need as a man is peace, a peace of mind, and that's where your strength comes from. That's where your restoration comes from, and that's where wisdom deals with you, as it says in Proverbs 18. Through desire, a man having separated himself, seeking and intermeddle it with all wisdom. All right, wisdom. She gravitates to a peaceful atmosphere. She gravitates to solitude, to where even if you already have a family, you might wake up in the middle of the night and start reading because, hey, the environment is peace. It's peaceful, okay? And something that society doesn't tell you is that the Most High gave you passions. You see, men have passions, all right? To compensate for not having a woman, men have passions. We have hobbies. See, Esau will make you think that your life revolves around the happiness of a woman, all right? And Esau has women thinking that, you know, we're little products in a vending machine, a social media vending machine, that they can push a button and we pop out. And our life is really about what their wants and their needs. But as a man, you have passions, you have hobbies, you have certain men who like to paint. You got brothers in this truth. They into music. They can play instruments, man. All right. You have brothers that, you know, been in this truth. We've been engulfed in our own heritage now. Hey, brothers heavy into them incense. Brothers heavy into those herbs. Hey, brothers be making oils with like very celestial fragrances, man. All right, very you know, very powerful fragrances. All right, brothers get into those salves, and brothers make candles. All right, brothers very artistic. Brothers can paint. All right, that's if you could spend hours and hours online really looking at women, or just, you know, fiending for women, you could spend hours immersed into your hobby in your free time. Those things give you fulfillment. And I was just listening to a radio station that brought out a study that actually doing what you love add years to your life. See, one study showed that, you know, being nagged by your woman or being henpecked and basically destroyed by your woman, that takes years from your life. But actually doing what fulfills you, all right, as a man with passions and hobbies, that actually adds years to your life. Because this society drains you. You work for different companies for 20, 30 years, and you go home to an unsatisfied woman, that drains you, and ultimately it kills you. So, like I said, first you deal with the harsh realities of this world. You accept it. Then you're comforted by wisdom, all right? But then as a man in your free time, you have hobbies. You have hobbies. You have passions, all right? Outside of this truth, you have other ways to occupy your time, man, all right? And that's something that I had to learn to do, not just use my hobbies sparingly. Like, no, actually, you can make an effort to generate income off your hobbies, man, all right? All right, there's a lot of power and energy. And when you concentrate energy, that's extreme power. So when you concentrate your energy into things you love doing, you know, outside from the truth, because the truth that's a priority anyway. When you redirect your energy into things you really enjoy doing, you will see that your fulfillment can come from other things aside from women. You know, and as men, it'll behoove us to be physically active as well. But like I said, you know, within this truth, you know, I got this lesson by way of inspiration, came from inspiration by way of Elder Apostle Barr's video, something about today's women, man. You know, you deal with reality, and we have wisdom as a coping mechanism and as a candle so we could navigate in this dark society, all right? But then we have our own passions, our own hobbies, our own interests, all right, which is all is all cultivated from peace. It engenders peace, man, and happiness, man. Society doesn't tell you that you have a world within yourself too, outside of women. All right, but with that, I hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Once again, I want to give our honor and glory to Yahweh Shema Shah by Shema Kakodash, the honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops, great millstone rule well. Peace and blessing to the house of David the elect, Abba Baal, Kumya Shalom, Shalom.